In Groupwork Guess My Rule, there are a few required materials. First, the handout with the directions that students will be using in order to do the activity. Next, you will need to have 4 different roles for the students: facilitator, reporter, materials manager, and harmonizer. They don't need to have these pins, but they should know their role. You will need a string or piece of yarn. There's also rules. The rules are on a sheet of paper which have been cut out here and laminated and placed inside the rule envelope. Next, you will need to have cutouts of all of the different colors and shapes. These will be then placed in the shape cards envelope.
So today we're going to actually do the Guess My Rules skill builder, and I need all the members of group 1 to go to that table, and all the members of group 2 to come to this table, and to please clear the table off because you're going to need table space. I'm going to ask the materials manager to come up and get the materials. You're going to see badges in your container. I would like to ask you to put them on today. But before we do that, let's review what these different roles are. What does a facilitator do? What's a facilitator do?
You keep the team on task, and you get a fast start in math. I don't know if that's what you do.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to that?
Facilitator makes sure everyone knows what they're doing.
Okay. And how do you go about making sure everybody knows what they're supposed to do? What would be step 1? Yes.
Read the task.
Yeah. So you can either read it as a facilitator, or you can ask someone else to do it, but you want to make sure that somebody has read through the task. Great. Thank you. So the combination of all 3 of those: someone reading the task, knowing what you're supposed to do, and keeping everybody moving forward. That's exactly right. How about the materials manager? What do they do?
They get the materials.
They get the materials. Okay, what else?
They make sure the materials are used appropriately.
Yes, very important. Thank you. Anybody else want to add to that? What? Yeah.
Organize the cleanup.
Okay, that's really important. Does that mean that person has to do all the cleanup? No. They have to organize. I really like Elizabeth's word choice on that. How about the harmonizer? Probably one of the most important jobs. What's the harmonizer do?
Singing.
Singing is one option. What else?
Harmony? No?
Making sure that everybody's opinions have been heard.
Okay, and that's going to be especially important in this skill builder. You really need to listen to each other and hear what each other's saying. How about the reporter? What's the reporter do?
Yeah. Writes down the results of the activity.
Okay, so if it's some kind of an experiment, you would write down. What else do they do?
Share out to the class.
Okay, share out to the class. Do they have to make all the decisions about what's shared out?
No.
No. Maggie, tell us what they can do.
They can make sure that everybody is able to report what's happening, and also, like if everybody's writing, everybody needs to write on their own paper, and the reporter makes sure of that.
Okay, all right, fantastic. So it sounds like you guys are totally understanding. What you're going to be given today, or basically what your task is that you're going to, one of the members of your team is going to hold the rule card. They're going to have a rule on a piece of paper. They're in this white envelope. There's nothing special about them. They're laminated, so they're white rule cards. The person who is determined to be the rule card holder is going to select one of these white cards. You want to read it silently to yourself and then put it down so no one else can see it. Because that's the rule that you want to try to have the rest of your group guess. So you're just going to pick one. Okay. Vincent, can you summarize what the rule holder person does?
The rule card holder will choose one card and will read it silently and then put it down so that no one else sees it.
Perfect. The other folder, but then the vanilla colored envelope, contains a whole bunch of cut up squares. And this is what they look like. They're in different shapes, different sizes, and different colors. And they've all been cut up for you, okay? So what you're going to do, the other 3 members of the team are going to put these around the table, and you're going to put one of the cards forward, and you're going to ask, does this meet the rule? And if the rule card holder says yes, it goes inside a piece of yarn, and we have a piece of yarn for you. If they say no, it goes outside the piece of yarn. So you're allowed to go through, you want to take turns, but you go through as many of these as possible, and at some point, someone is going to say, I think I understand the rule. But before you say what your rule is to the rule card holder, you want to talk to the other members of your group to make sure that other people agree with your idea before you put it forward. So it's going to involve 2 important behaviors today. The first one has to do with finding out what other people are thinking. In other words, you need to listen to what the other people are saying in your group so that you can decide whether you agree or disagree with them and how you might improve that rule. The other thing you want to be able to say is for people to say why they're thinking what they're thinking by telling why. Okay? So those are the main instructions for the activity that you're going to do. And we're going to add one more interesting piece. We're going to have somebody come to your group and observe. And they're going to fill out this piece of paper. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be writing down observations or examples of when your group is following these 2 norms, right? So they're going to write examples of when that is really helpful to your group, or they might be writing about things where following one of those norms would have helped your group improve. Okay? So Ari's going to be one of our observers. Maybe we can get Eric to be another observer. Okay. Or Patrice. Okay? All right. Any questions about what well, actually, could somebody summarize what is it that you're supposed to accomplish in this task? What are you supposed to do?
Figure out the rule.
Okay? And how do you do that? Somebody from this table. How are you going to figure out the rule? Elizabeth.
You have these different cards, and you put forth the card and ask the rule card holder if that card fits the rule. And if it does, you put it inside the yarn, and if it doesn't, you put it outside.
Perfect. Any questions? All right, well, will my 2 materials managers come up and get their materials?
Anybody? Let's work together.
Who's the facilitator? I am. Would you like me to read the rules out loud since we only have 1 copy?
Yes, please.
So, the rules. 1 person will be the rule card holder. This person will choose 1 rule card from the deck, read it silently, and place it where no one else can see it. The investigators, that's the 3 other people, will work together to figure out which rule card the rule card holder is holding. The investigator will lay out the colored shaped cards and take turns picking a card. Once an investigator chooses a card, they ask the rule card holder if their card matches the rule card. If the answer is yes, the card goes inside the yarn circle. And if the answer is no, then the card is placed outside the yarn circle.
I'm making a yarn circle.
It is a beautiful yarn circle.
Hold on. It's not done. I like my shoes. You can keep reading.
Thank you. When it is your turn to pick a card and you think you may know what the rule is, you may ask the other investigators what they think of your idea. After you listen to what they say, make up your own mind about what you think the rule is and ask the rule card holder. The game continues until the rule is figured out or until the teacher says it's time to stop.
So I'm the rule card holder?
I think so.
Wait, what are our norms?
The norms there are observers are making sure we are finding out what others think and that we are telling why.
Okay. Cool. All right.
You have the shapes. Want to spread shapes out?
Am I doing this correctly?
I think you lay them out around here so we can all get access to them.
You can put it down there.
Do we want to
This
go
one?
in order
Or I'm
this
gonna,
way?
I'm gonna hold it for reference.
Sure.
I don't totally understand what I'm supposed to do
Why don't you
first,
look
so
behind it so that I can't see
So-
it, because
Okay.
I definitely already tried to.
can you
Okay.
review what our first step is?
Yes. So once an investigator, that is you, chooses a card, they ask the roll card holder if their card matches the roll card.
Does this match the roll card?
No.
Okay, the answer is no, so then the card's placed outside the yarn circle. So maybe should we spread these
So
back?
I'm just gonna put it over here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That works.
I'm gonna put it over here because it does not match the rule.
Great thinking, teammate.
Thank you for telling us why, teammate.
Yeah.
Does this match the rule?
No.
I'm gonna put it over here since it does not match the rule.
Does this match the roll?
No.
I'm going to put it over here because it does not match the rule.
Team, let's think about some things that they have in common and let's choose something different.
None of those are circles.
Let's try a circle.
Does that match the rule? Does this match the rule?
No.
I'm noticing that these are all big and they don't match the rule.
But here's a little one, maybe medium.
I like what she's thinking.
You're really listening to her.
Does this match the rule?
No.
Oh no. I'm worried.
I'm
There are
wondering.
no diamonds
Oh, there is a diamond.
in there, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like your
I just
idea.
noticed the
I'm going to try the diamond. Does this match the rule?
No.
Oh.
That was a good idea, Jay. I like what you were thinking, and I like that you told me what you were thinking.
These are big triangles. These are both circles. Okay. So
I'm wondering if it's a certain color and shape. Like, for example, only yellow squares or only.
right, like we don't have one of
have
these.
circles?
Yeah. Does this match the rule?
Yes.
Ooh. Let's try that
I
one.
won.
Let's try that one. Let's try
It's
that
your
one.
turn.
Oh, okay. Is this natural?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, hold on. So, when it is your turn to pick a card, you think you may know what the rule is. You might ask the other investigators what they think of your idea.
Okay.
Do we think it's pink circles? I think it's pink circles.
I think it's pink circles
Hold
too.
on, hold on. Can we try an orange circle? Because it might be like pink and orange circles.
Oh, that's a good idea. I will try an orange. Does this match the rule?
Yes.
Oh.
Let me try to verify that with this one. Since this is like a small circle and this is a small circle,
Good thinking.
does this match the rule?
Yes.
Ooh. I think I know the rule, team.
What do you think the rule is?
I think that it's all circles of all sizes because we have small, medium, and large in all of the yellow and orange and pink colors.
I think you're right.
All right, should I verify my rule? Or?
I think so. Jeff, what do you think?
I don't think that we have a lot of data, but we have some data.
Would you like to do a couple more?
We could put one more in.
Oh, that's a good point. We haven't tested a triangle that's orange.
Here's an orange triangle.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Does this match the rule?
No.
I didn't think it would.
Okay. Should we try?
Is there an advantage for us to guessing the rule early? I mean, is this like
Ooh.
It
is
does.
this like Wheel of Fortune?
We
Do I
can
get points for solving the puzzle?
if we finish early, our prize is we can play again.
Oh, I don't
Oh, and we get a new rule. Yeah, I'm going to offer team that we have solved the puzzle.
I like
so
that.
Jeff, you need to share your ideas with your other team members and make sure that they agree, or if they have different ideas.
The idea that is on the table, that the rule is that it is pink and orange circles of any size. I'm offering it that as the rule.
I second.
Yep, that I third.
Okay. You guys are exactly right. Minus the names of the colors. There's salmon and goldenrod. But that is the rule.
I think we lost the game.
Thank you very much. Lots of really good discussion going on. So you're going to rotate who's going to be the rule card holder to the right. The person at the right will be the
Okay,
next.
so should I put the finished rule somewhere else? So you're not.
Inside.
Okay,
So we
okay.
don't do the different
So I
one.
didn't look at any of these rules.
It's all on tape. It's okay.
Okay.
I'm going to look at one rule.
Some of the things you observed of when members of your group were following the norms.
So this group, I noticed that almost at every turn there was this almost mini conference that would happen, and they would always try and figure out, I'm going to guess this one. This is why. What do you think? There was a lot of that going on just about every turn, and then the listening to kind of the rule behind it, the because, was sometimes a little more implicit than explicit. So a lot of times I would say, I'm thinking it's this. And it seemed like everyone understood why the first person, the investigator, was saying they think it's that, but it wasn't made explicitly like, I think it's this because of blah blah blah. It was that part was done, I would say, 1 out of every 4 times. And the other times there was this kind of like implicit nod, like, yeah, I know what rule you're thinking of in your head. But overall, I think just about every single turn there was the this is what I'm thinking, what do you think kind of conversation going on.
Okay. And Patrice had to leave the room, but I noticed from looking at her observation sheet, she has a lot of tick marks under the finding out what others think. So your group was clearly doing that. And the times where I was walking past when you were trying to formulate a rule, I heard people say things like, well, someone stating a rule using the because, and then other people saying, well, do we have enough information? Do we need to test out a few more things? Which was really a very important thing when you're doing this kind of activity. So I want to thank both groups and observers. I want you to put your thinking caps on for just a moment and think about how might you use this in one of our science lessons. Why might these 2 norms be important when you're carrying out a science investigation or completing one of our science activities? Yeah.
Sometimes verbalizing something that seems obvious is important, because when you don't, sometimes everyone seems to be, you can assume everyone's on the same page, or observing like a phenomenon or a concept, and then they're not. So maybe verbalizing that.
Okay, great. Yeah.
In a lot of the activities that we do, oftentimes there's one choice to make, or there's 2 choices to make. And so with fewer choices, it needs to be very clear that everyone's on the same page and that this is why we're doing it.
Thank you, Erica. Jan.
Especially if we're building things, it's good to hear what people might want to do with the design, and then it's really important to find out why they want to do it so that we can choose which design we agree with most.
So really emphasizing the why they've come up with their suggestion. Okay, thank you. Mark.
I think it comes into experimental protocols when you're turning observation into inference in the conclusion, in the analyze and conclude phase of any experimental protocol. There's always, here's the evidence we have, and let's make meaning from that. And it's the process of making that meaning that drives home the theme of probably the experimental purpose in the first place. So it's about hypothesis evaluation and turning observation into inference. And that's what this particular activity encourages, I think.
Okay. Anybody want the last word?
What, Maggie?
I think it helps kind of equalize the status of people at a table. If the expectation is you have to explain what you're saying, then then all students are hearing everything for why. And if somebody's like, wait, I really don't get why that person did that, well, you'll know because that person is expected to explain everything they do.
Now, what if somebody in your group doesn't say why? They've got an idea, but they don't say why. What can you say as another investigator, Jeff?
You can ask why they think that.
Ask them to elaborate
Yes,
or
yes. Can you
explain.
please explain why? I think I would actually say, I wouldn't say please explain. I would say, why do you think that?
All right.
Just yell fake news. You're fake news.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.